At this point, the fracture tool is almost finished. All that left is to turn it into a digital asset, so it becomes much easier to reuse on future assets. But before doing that, there's one last issue I want to address. As I tweak parameters like blur and erosion, and depending on how complex the input geometry is, it's possible to end up with small gaps between chunks. If those gaps are large enough, you might be able to see through the rock, which obviously isn't something we want. To solve this, I'm going to create an inner volume for the rock. I start from the original input geometry, the same mesh that gets fed into the fracture tool. First, I convert it into a volume using VDB from polygons, and by adjusting the voxel size, I can control the resolution and the density of the volume. Next, I use VDB reshape with the erode operation. This allows me to shrink the volume inward, ensuring that it sits fully inside the fractured rock and never sticks out. To clean things up a bit, I also apply VDB Smooth, just to ensure the volume stays clean and stable. Since this geometry will almost always be hidden, it doesn't need much detail. And once that's done, I convert the volume back to polygon using a VDB convert. Depending on the complexity of the input rock, the VDB process can sometimes generate small floating pieces that I don't want. And to handle that, I use a delete small parts and enable extract largest piece. This guarantees that I keep only a single solid interior mesh and discard any unwanted fragments. Now I have a clean inner shape. I bring it back into my main network using an object merge. And at the very end of the tool, I simply merge the interior mesh with the fractured chunks. This ensures that no matter how extreme the parameters get, the rock will always feel solid, and you'll never be able to see through it. With that final improvement done, the fracture tool is complete. I select all the nodes that make up the tool and collapse them into a subnetwork. I name it fracture tool and then convert it into a digital asset. I set the submenu and I keep everything else at its default setting and create the asset. Now I can expose the parameters I actually need. And to keep things clean and user-friendly, I organize everything into folders. I create a folder for path generation. Here I expose the start point density, the start point seed, I repeat this same setup for the endpoints, grouping them in their own subfolder. So we need the endpoint density and the endpoint seed. And next from the measure node, I expose the width parameter that I rename curvature weight to control how strongly the paths follow the surface valleys. And from the blur node, I expose the iteration parameters that smooth the paths and reduce its jagginess. And that's all I need for the path generation. Next, I create a chunk folder. Here, I expose the chunk thickness, the offset distance, which is the random displacement per chunk, and the final scale amount for chunk variations. The last folder is for erosion. In this section, I expose the remesh division size. the curvature multiplier and the curvature blur amount. And for the noise used during erosion, I add a subfolder where I expose the noise bias, the noise contrast, and the element size, and the amplitude. And finally, in the attribute blur node, I expose the blur iterations and rename it flattening strength. The tool can be fairly heavy to work with. Every time a parameter changes, the entire network recomputes, which can be slow and frustrating. So to improve the usability, I want to add preview stages. I use object merge node to retrieve the generated path. The chunk geometry before the erosion, and the final eroded result. And I plug this into a switch node that I then expose the switch parameter on the digital asset and change it from a numeric value to a menu. I name it previz and define 3 options: paths, chunks, and final. And now I can choose exactly which stage I want to visualize. This is extremely useful. If I'm working on path generation, for example, I don't need to compute the chunk cutting or the erosion. These tools stay responsive and I get a near real-time feedback. And when I'm done, I can set the preview to final and get the final result. And with that, the fracture tool is complete.